right, everyone. Welcome to the Codo Bach Pitstop. I am your host, Matt Lauterbach, and of course, joined by the one and only.
The co-host of the Codo Bach Pitstop, Patrick Codo. Matt, happy playoff season for the Cup teams.
Yeah, happy playoff season, holiday weekend, end of the regular season this weekend. We got the playoffs coming up with Atlanta. Pat's already got his shirt on with the Folds of Honor Quick Trip shirt that he got from Atlanta a
Yep,
couple of years ago. You went to the first ever drafting race at Atlanta, didn't you, back in 22?
that is correct. I got to see the trucks, Xfinity, and the Cup cars race on that. That was pretty fucking cool to see.
Yeah, that was pack racing at Atlanta. That was something I thought I would never see in my lifetime, but we saw it, and I that's the track that is on my to-go list someday.
Oh, you what? We have to take you there one day, man. Atlanta Motor Speedway is awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. We're going to preview that coming up, but we got a lot to unpack in terms of silly season news, schedule releases. We had Darlington this weekend. A whole lot of action and drama went down there. But first, Pat, let's knock out the big elephant in the room, and that is the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Last week it was announced, and it had been going on for a while about leaks and stuff, what the playoff system would be like, what the races were going to be like. We already knew that Mexico was going to be folded into the equation. We weren't sure if we were going to gain that race or lose a race date for it, but we have that all sorted out. So, season, of course, kicks off with the Daytona 500. Then it goes to Atlanta immediately after. Those were the first two races of the year this year. And then we get our first road course action the week after at Coda, which I'm really excited for. That's a good day for Coda, honestly. A lot to break down with the schedule. Obviously, Daytona and Atlanta start off with drafting races. Then we go to Coda, third race of the year. And we have an interesting one. Gateway, which is normally the first race of June, is now a playoff race. Very interesting.
I'm excited for that though. Not only because we live in Illinois, not only because Illinois gets a playoff race, which we will definitely go to, but Gateway has put on some great racing lately. I think it's a great race for the playoffs. I'm disappointed that Watkins Glen is not in there anymore
Yeah,
because sure we haven't seen Watkins Glen in the playoffs yet, but with how the racing's been lately, it's going to be great this year. And I wish they would have brought it back for next year.
yeah,
Michigan being back in early June. Thank you.
yeah, that's a good one. I actually
Knock on
like
wood,
this.
it does knock on wood, it doesn't rain then.
Yeah.
Mexico City. I like that. Kyle Busch, better be careful down there.
Yeah, the Kyle Busch better have an extra security detail, American security detail, not Mexican one.
Yep. I like the schedule, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, the schedule's interesting. It's we
Talladega in the round of 8.
yeah,
Oh,
Talladega in the round of 8.
popcorn ready for that.
Yeah, the round of 8 is going to be interesting because we go to Las Vegas, then we go to Dega, and then we have Martinsville, which I like as like the cutoff race to the final four. I actually like Martinsville as the final race before the second to last race of the year.
Exactly. The Charlotte Roval, bring the oval back.
Yeah, I kind of want them to just bring the oval back. I mean, the Roval is fun and all, but we don't need. I mean, that was in an age when NASCAR, when fans wanted road course racing, but we've seen great racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the next gen car.
Right.
So
New Hampshire is in the playoffs. That's it. That's interesting.
they have a late race date for New Hampshire, near the end of September too, which is very. I don't know if I like that.
Well, they've been moving it around lately. It went from mid-July to late June this year. Now you got it all the way in September. Like
Yeah,
you
I
just gotta
don't.
hope that the weather. You just gotta hope that the weather's good then.
Yeah, Loudon's another track that has been plagued by weather, but we'll see. We've seen great racing there before in September, but that was like early September when New Hampshire was a playoff race. But I mean, it's kind of nice to see Daytona go back to being the cutoff race of the playoffs again.
As it
Darlington,
should.
as it should. Darlington was a great race for the playoff cut line this year, but I feel Daytona is where we get to see all the chaos happen. And then, obviously we saw that second to last race of the year. Darlington goes back to being the playoff opener, followed by Gateway, and then Bristol being the cutoff for the round of 16, which that's a fitting track for it. Again,
We got some Saturday night races back in the mix. We got Saturday at Atlanta. Oh, that's gonna
oh
be good.
yeah,
Saturday at Richmond, Saturday at Daytona. So some Saturday races, some more
yeah,
Saturday races, but
yeah, yeah.
wish
I
there'd be some more.
yeah, I mean they've been so light on Saturday night races. There were only two this year, which is
Now
Daytona.
you got four next year. Bristol night race, Richmond, Daytona, and Atlanta.
Yeah, Richmond, I love seeing a Richmond Saturday night race. They used to do that twice a year a long time ago, but they haven't done it since like 2018, I believe it was. So it's been a while since they've done Saturday night racing at Richmond. Pat, the interesting thing about this schedule is with Mexico, because Mexico being added to the mix means that a track lost its race date, and that track is Richmond. So Richmond will only go back to having one race a year for the first time in a long time. And that's interesting because the Xfinity drivers and the truck drivers, they will not be racing at Richmond next year at all, which is insane.
Yeah, the Xfinity schedule looked interesting too. I wasn't quite a big fan of some of the adjustments and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't super thrilled with some of the adjustments that they made um to it. I mean, Richmond losing a date. There are some other tracks too I noticed that had lost its race date. Michigan will not be Xfinity will not be going back to Michigan.
That's a crime.
Yeah, that is
That's a crime. Major crime.
yeah, that's not good. I didn't
Fucking
I
kidding me?
yep. Yeah, I was so surprised about that, especially with how good we saw the Xfinity race with that package this year that the Xfinity cars ran at Michigan. It was just
Exactly.
surprising.
And Xfinity does not go back to Kansas again in the spring, which I call bullshit.
They really should go to Kansas twice, I feel. Like
Yeah.
Kansas is such a good track that they can just run, two races there for Xfinity. And with how we've seen the Xfinity cars this year, there'd be a lot of fans that would love to see that happen.
Yeah. I do not understand no Michigan. I really don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't get that either. What I also don't like, I don't like Homestead being a spring race. That's back in
Get back
March.
to the playoffs.
Yeah, Homestead should be the final race of the year. That track deserves to have the championship four race, but NASCAR, for whatever reason, Phoenix is just footing the bill right to NASCAR and is just giving them money to go there and run the final four race there, which I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think.
I am. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not quite a fan of that. And with no Xfinity at Michigan, that means you're only seeing the Cup race at Michigan.
And you're probably seeing truck race, but we've seen truck racing there before. It's like Michigan is a criminally underrated track, and I feel it's gotten a bad rep because of NASCAR scheduling the race in August when it's been raining there for like three out of the past 4 years, it seems.
The truck race, okay, so they will race trucks at Michigan, which is good, but
Yeah,
yeah, no Xfinity. Oh, that's a major crime.
yeah. Something else I found really interesting is Dover being moved from May back to middle of July, which is very interesting. Did not expect
Very interesting.
did not expect to see a July Dover race. Was not
Yeah,
expecting
I didn't
that.
expect to see a July Dover race. Iowa got moved to August. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Nashville will be on June 1st.
Yeah, Nashville is up there at like Memorial Day weekend, and then Pocono is middle of June. Pocono, I just feel is like a great July race. It's always been run pretty well in July, but then we've had some June racing at Pocono, so
I
it's
was
just
just
been a
gonna
while.
say, but COVID and 21, we had a couple Pocono races.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Indianapolis will be back in its normal spot
Interesting,
around July.
interesting for Xfinity. Portland, they'll go to Portland Labor Day weekend, the same weekend I believe IndyCar runs at Portland. So that'll be interesting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Portland will be racing for Xfinity on August 30th, and us IndyCar fans saw Portland racing for IndyCar racing at Portland, I should say, last weekend.
Well, I'll just tell you this for Michigan. I am not sure if I'll be going back next year. Let me just put it there.
Yeah, I especially with how I don't know, especially
Especially
with all
when I
the
already have 5 races already lined up. Talladega in the spring, Indy, of course, the street race, obviously,
yeah.
and then, of course, the 2 playoff races, Gateway and Kansas. And I got a feeling those playoff races are gonna
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be
those
really
prices are gonna be a little higher than they are in the regular season.
hey,
So definitely want to save up for those if I'm going to 2 playoff races
you
next
kind of
season.
get it covered a little bit because you went to Michigan and it rained out there this year.
The weather protection plan is eligible until next August, so I am a month short.
Ah, I was gonna say you could just I was gonna say you'd be covered scot-free, but no, that not with it
Well, I'm
extending.
going to use it for Talladega, and consider the big group that we're going to have going. I have a 470 something dollar head start,
All right. Hey,
so
you're
so
well ahead
that'll
of
help
yeah.
for the spring.
Oh, that'll help. You're already off to a great head start. Just don't pull a bonsai block like Michael McDowell did on the last lap there. Just do not pull a
Yeah, we
bonsai.
got a big group going for that spring race. So I already got, a
Yeah.
decent head start for now. I just got to see how many people are going before I buy all the tickets.
I gotcha. But anyways, that's the schedule update. Let's move now to some
Yes,
silly
sir.
season news. We got a whole lot to unpack with that. Starting, we have mainly a lot of Xfinity talk coming up. We have a new face moving into Xfinity next season, driving one of the colleague cars, and that man happens to be Truck Series ace himself, Christian Eckes, finally getting a shot. He will be moving up to the Xfinity Series next season, driving the number 16 car, formerly driven by AJ Allmendinger. Pat, this is a great opportunity. Eckes is easily, it's between him and Corey Heim for the championship, no doubt.
I was gonna say Eckes is having a fantastic season so far. I feel like he deserves an Xfinity ride.
He has. He's been growing. He had a good start at KBM, but he never won there. And then he kind of got a bad rep after that. He fell off to some part-time rides. But then him going to that 19 car and truck, that has been some of the best driving that we've
Yeah,
seen.
Eckes is clearly running away with in the standings right now with the truck, and he's just gonna get better and better and better.
Yeah, and that's a good pickup for colleague because they have really been slipping and they've been making some interesting moves lately.
They have, and getting Christian Eckes, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, they just signed Daniel Dye to their Xfinity team last year.
Yep.
So the lineup for colleague, it's going to be Daniel Dye in the 10, Eckes in the 16, and our good old friend Josh Williams still there in the 11 car, which I don't know how much longer he will last, to be honest with you.
I just can't wait to see him park his car again, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And we go to his favorite place
You need
this
someone to
weekend.
park your car? Call Josh Williams.
Hey, we go to his favorite place this weekend. So any Atlanta Motor Speedway fan going there, just be able to just reach out to Josh Williams if you need help parking your car.
Exactly. He'll park it right in victory lane, and good luck trying to get it back.
Exactly. Yeah, because he'll take the keys and run with it. That's his trophy. But good for Christian.
He'll probably find the nicest car out there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he'll find something that suits his needs. But congrats to Christian Eckes. Congrats to Colleague. That's a home run signing for them.
Yes,
I
sir.
cannot deny that. Cannot deny that at all. But we got some other breaking news in Xfinity just as we were hopping on this
Literally,
show.
as we were about to start, talk about great timing.
Yeah, literally impeccable timing. The much maligned Brandon Jones, who I have seen so many times at my job. I walk by monitors at Menards and I see commercials of him talking to Dale Jr. They're like talking about Richmond water heaters and all the other appliances that we sell at Menards. Brandon Jones, who has really not had much to show in his time at Junior Motorsports, is going back to his roots at Joe Gibbs Racing. He'll be returning to JGR, signing a multi-year deal to return to the team in their Xfinity Series team. We don't know if he'll be going back in the 19 car. We don't know which car he'll be going into. We just know he's going back to JGR. This is a lateral move again. Brandon Jones going to be an Xfinity lifer, I feel, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, this I don't know. We've seen him have some good cars at times at JGR, but again, he's Brandon Jones. He's in the sport because of where his dad is.
Well, consider the season that he's having this year. I feel like him going back to JGR is the right move.
Yeah, it is. I just hope he gets a good shakedown on it because when we last saw him at JGR, uh I mean, that was an ugly exit for him when him and Ty Gibbs got into it at Martinsville back in 22. I mean, that
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs didn't need to do that. Brandon Jones needed to win, and he would be in the final four with Gibbs.
And
And
Ty Gibbs is already locked into the
yeah,
championship.
which made that move even more boneheaded than it was. But, you're dealing with Xfinity Series Ty Gibbs. What do you expect?
Exactly.
But yeah, Brandon Jones will be going back. I mean, they apparently Dale Jr. was tired of the money and wanted to see performance. He wasn't getting that out of Brandon Jones. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of the stuff Jones got into, that wasn't his fault. He just was a driver who kept getting
Right.
caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. But he was just covered in bad luck. But now his bad luck is once again Joe Gibbs's problem. So I guess good for Brandon Jones. He's going back to his roots somewhat, so to speak, but
Yeah.
I I don't know. I mean, let's be real, Pat. He's going to be an Xfinity lifer. Do you really see him getting a full-time ride in Cup?
No, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. So he can.
Especially when let's be real, Matt. I know we were talking about last week with how good Ryan Truex has been lately. He's going to be in that 19 soon. Ryan Truex.
At some point in time, whether Brandon Jones takes it over or, sometime down the line, if Brandon Jones is out of that ride, or, I mean, let's be real too, Sheldon Creed is out the door at JGR. I mean, that's another opening right there, depending on who you look at. I mean, JGR, they're keeping Chandler Smith. There's no doubt in my mind Chandler Smith is staying at Joe Gibbs Racing after this year. Sheldon Creed is out the door. Brandon Jones is back in. Um, I mean, at Joe Gibbs, we've seen them run like 3 or 4 full-time rides in Xfinity before.
Yeah.
They can do it again. Keep that 20.
Ryan Truex is for sure. I'm hoping Ryan Truex gets an opportunity for Xfinity
Yeah,
full time.
he deserves it. I mean, he's done so well on part-time basis at Dover, at Daytona. He's been really good at. He's run some races at Martinsville. He's also finished top 5 there. I mean, Pat, he's a guy who's got that talent. He deserves it, but he doesn't have the backing or the sponsorship that some of these other guys, namely Brandon Jones, have.
Right.
I mean, you look at some of these guys like Brandon Jones, Riley Herbst, even to an extent. They've wrecked a lot of cars, but that don't matter. They have the money and the backing behind them where they can make it work.
Exactly. But Truex will definitely get a full time Xfinity opportunity soon.
Yeah, and if it's not Joe Gibbs, it'll be somewhere else. But that's gonna leave an opening at Junior Motorsports, because we know
Right.
Connor Zilich will be going over there, but we Allgaier is going to be locked there for life. We know Sammy Smith will probably be there, but
Yep.
Sam Mayer is out the door already, and Brandon Jones is going with him. So that'll leave essentially a vacant spot open at Junior Motorsports, which I'm curious who we think will take over that spot.
Your guess is good as mine.
It'll be interesting. Maybe they go after maybe they put Quaffle. Maybe they try and get Carson Quaffle in a full-time ride there with how good he's run.
Maybe get a trucker.
A trucker, but who are you gonna get? I mean, Corey Heim is pretty committed to Toyota. Uh Christian Eckes is already going to Colleague. I mean, unless he
Majeski,
wants,
maybe?
I mean, yeah, maybe a Ty Majeski, depending if he wants to move back up to Xfinity. He had a bit of a difficult shakeout in his early years there.
Maybe Ben Rhodes, Raja Karuz.
I think Ben Rhodes going to be a truck lifer, and then Raja's getting better. I don't think he's ready yet, and I don't really have much hope for Lane Riggs to move up to Xfinity yet. Yeah, he had that win, but settle down, everyone. Lane Riggs needs to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Silly season in Xfinity has really shaken up the field quite a lot in terms of drivers going different places, places we didn't really openings we never really thought were
Yeah.
going to happen. It's just been one after the other in Xfinity this year. So silly season madness will continue.
Oh, and it will. We're not done it. We're not done yet with silly season. It's it's gonna pick up more and more and more.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's gonna pick up more and more as these playoffs go on. So, and we're right there for the ride. So we'll see how it shakes down.
Yes, sir.
But let's go now. Silly season is too tough to tame. You know what else is worse to tame? Darlington Motor Speedway. We had the classic Labor Day race weekend return to Darlington. We had Xfinity racing on Saturday. We'll start off with that first. I know Pat's gonna love this because this is just depression for me. We had Joe Gibbs Racing.
You had your laugh last week. Now it's my turn.
Oh, hey, we still finished ahead of you, so I'll take that. Um, so we had to start, we had, yeah, put that down. Put that down. That ain't gonna be the case soon enough. We had to start the race on Saturday. Joe Gibbs teammates, Christopher Bell, Sheldon Creed starting 1-2. It was going, we called it, this was going to be a Toyota race, and it was. Those two were the dominant cars in the race the whole day. No doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. And you had to figure Creed. I mean, you had to figure Creed was going to be fighting for a win, but Christopher Bell, who's been really great in Xfinity lately, had something to say about that.
Well, yeah, but Christopher Bell didn't overtake Creed. The caution ended up messing Creed up, which we'll get to. You know what? Let's just flash forward to that
He's just
because
cursed, man. I swear to God, he's
yeah,
just cursed.
he's cursed. So Christopher Bell won stage one. That was a fight between him and Austin Hill. It looked like Hill was going to size him up for the pass, but
Yeah.
then our boy Brandon Jones spun down the backstretch after contact with SVG. That basically
Oh,
ruined his day. And Brandon Jones, yeah, you're looking at a must-win situation going forward now. Good luck to you, sir. But we had stage two commence. Sheldon Creed and Christopher Bell went back and forth at it. Creed overtook Bell, barely ended up winning stage two. That's his first stage win of the year. What a time to do it right before the playoffs start. Try and get some more playoff points.
I know, crazy.
Yeah, indeed. And then we had stage three. So Christopher Bell set sail ahead of the field on this one. Sheldon Creed had some debris on his car. He went back behind your boy, Austin Hill, to get that debris off, but he lost so much time to Bell. But he looked at that and said, that don't matter. I'm just going to set sail ahead. And he chopped away a 4.5 second deficit. And with 10 laps to go, caught up to Christopher Bell, took the lead. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't see the race. I was watching the leaderboard at work, and I was thinking to myself, this is it. This is going to be the day. This is going to happen. This is actually going to happen. Sheldon Creed is going to win. I'm going to be insufferable. I'm going to come on here this week and annoy Pat the entire time, just gloat my Sheldon Creed shirt. But the racing gods had something to say about that. With 6 laps to go, AJ Allmendinger and Cole Custer battling for position, tangle in turns 3 and 4, cut the right front of Allmendinger's tire down. And instead of coming to pit road like he should have, Allmendinger stayed on track, and then in turn one, cuts a right front tire down, knocks down the wall, bringing out the caution and setting up overtime. Cars had to come down pit road. Creed led them down there, and this is when I knew. This is how I know he's cursed, Pat, because earlier in the race, Creed's pit crew had two of the fastest pit stops in the entire
Right.
race. They had two of the fastest pit stops earlier in the race under caution. But when it mattered most, the right rear tire changer had a slow time getting the tire on Creed's car. Creed had maybe 1.4 seconds of a slower stop than Christopher Bell and Cole Custer did. And instead of coming out on pit road, retaining the lead, he slipped back to third because of a horrible right rear tire change. And on the restart, restarting third, Creed wasn't able to get by Bell nor Custer. He almost did. They almost wrecked it going down the backstretch, and I thought that would be his big opportunity, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. And Christopher Bell wins in Xfinity again over Sheldon Creed. And Pat, I just have to ask you, what does Sheldon Creed need to do to win a race?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. And no offense to this, but is that Bubba's? Did he have Bubba's picker or something?
I yeah, this was I don't know what happened to his pit crew. They were so good the whole race, and then when it mattered most, they just laid an egg. It
Exactly. You hate to see that too. It, like there's drivers out there that just completely get screwed by their pit crews. Like Bubba Wallace, he's got screwed by his pit crew a couple times.
Kevin
Um,
Harvick, a lot of times way back when.
Harvick, Larson's gotten screwed a few times. Shit, Chase Elliott's pit crew screwed him a few times.
Yep.
Austin Hills had their up and downs with his pit crews. I mean, there's always, even the good drivers have the bad pit stops, and unfortunately, it haunted Sheldon Creed. Dude's a damn good driver. He just can't find himself in victory lane.
And this was nothing of his fault. He did
No.
everything he needed to do. He overtook Bell. He was setting sail. He had the caution not come out and Allmendinger went to pit road, he would have had that race
Ha!
locked. He would
Dinger.
have. Yeah, I understand why you guys hate AJ Allmendinger now. I understand why you don't really like him. And
Well, you did not have to see him win. You didn't see him win in person for your first in person race.
I didn't, but I got to see him.
Shit still lives rent free in my head.
Well, this shit from this weekend lives rent free in my head now. Thank you, AJ. You just added something rent free into my head.
Over Michigan?
Yeah, this is worse than Michigan because here's the difference between that. Sheldon didn't have the lead at Michigan. He was hunting Allgaier. It would have been interesting to see if he would have caught up to him in turns 3 and 4 had the caution not come out. But in this race, he had it locked. He had that race won. Like if Allmendinger comes to pit road, if his pit crew tells him to come to pit road and not stay out on track, and he doesn't cut that tire and hits the wall, Sheldon Creed wins the race. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind he wins that race. But because the caution came out, that forced everyone to pit road, but still Sheldon's crew had to do a good job like they did all day, but they couldn't. They just couldn't keep up with it. And he lost the lead on pit road. And you could just see how dejected. I felt this is you if even if you're a Sheldon Creed hater, if for some reason you hate this guy, unless you're an Austin Hill fan who's still, yeah, I know you kind of have your feelings about Creed, but I mean, even if you don't like Sheldon Creed, you have to feel sorry for him because you saw how
I
dejected
do.
he,
I do. I do. You know, he's gotten fucked in a couple races this year. Obviously, Michigan.
yeah, yeah,
And of course, Darlington.
yeah, and this is one of his favorite tracks. I mean,
I mean, that's just racing, man. Unfortunately, I mean, Chris Buescher, he had two wins robbed from him, and
oh yeah,
missed the
yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's just the agony of defeat right there. I mean, thrill of victory for Christopher Bell, agony of defeat for Sheldon Creed. Rick Allen said it perfectly in post race, but I will say this about Creed. He is getting more notice I mean, he's consistent top 5, top 10 on a weekly basis. And I said it to you a couple.
Well, at least you won fantasy this week for our NASCAR group.
At least I won something. I'll take a
Yeah.
small victory. But back to Sheldon. I
Yeah.
mean, he's over. He had a good weekend. He's over 109 in the playoff cut line now. So if he keeps it up like this, again, if we have no new winners and he keeps it going like this, Pat, he's going to be up there in that playoff hunt again. And we saw him make a deep run last year with not having wins and some lacking equipment at RCR. And
Right. Well, Sheldon Creed, I mean, he is, plus 109 above the cut line. So
yeah,
he keeps it up. I'd say he's safe. Excuse me.
bless you.
Thank you. I'd um I'd say he's safe, but he's got to stay consistent.
Yes, he has to stay consistent these next few races. But I'm going to be honest. Do you really see a guy below the cut line like a Ryan Sieg winning or a Brandon Jones winning or an Anthony
Anthony
Alfredo
Alfredo,
or a
Brandon
or a
Poole,
Parker
Parker.
Retzlaff?
I was gonna say it. Hey, Parker Retzlaff can stay out of trouble.
Yeah, but he keeps finding himself in trouble and
That's the thing.
also through stuff not of his own making. He dodges he's up there. He's in top 10, top 15, but he just keeps running into trouble sometimes and it's not his
And then
own
he got
fault.
fucking. And then there's we got another super speedway coming up. You could see like a potential Jeb Burton win.
Yes, yeah.
Parker Retzlaff again if he stays out of trouble. I wouldn't get too comfortable. Though there
No.
are drivers that also shouldn't be comfortable, like Sammy Smith and Parker
No.
Kligerman.
No, they should not be comfortable at all. The only two drivers above the cut line who should be feeling any sort of comfort is Creed and AJ Allmendinger. That's it. Sammy Smith is in a fight for his life for the playoffs. Kligerman still is. I mean, Ryan Sieg is trying to get back. He had a bit of a rough weekend at Darlington, but yeah, I mean, if you're Sheldon Creed, all you need to do is just keep running consistent and maybe yeah, before he gets to the playoffs, before
Stay
the
in the
playoffs,
top 10 for the rest of
yes,
the way.
stay in the top 10. As long as there's no new winners, you'll be fine. Which, I mean, we go to some super speedway tracks. RCR is going to
I was gonna
probably,
say this is a big one coming up in Atlanta.
yeah. But again, we've seen Sheldon run good there before. So this is another opportunity for him. You never know.
Exactly.
But my heart goes out for him. He ran such a good race. He was so dejected afterwards. And we just got to pray to the racing gods that they stop screwing this man over because he
I
deserves it.
hope so.
You'd hope so, but he deserves it. I'm sorry. He's been so close so many times. He deserves to have a win. I don't know what he's done to piss the racing gods off, but that's, he'll be in victory lane one day.
You will. You will.
Yeah. His time will be coming. I think sometime before the playoffs we may see him in victory lane.
Championship.
Oh, yeah, Daniel
Some
Hemrick
Daniel Hemrick
championship.
shit.
Oh, I will laugh hysterically if that happens. That 18 car is just blessed to get first time winners in the most insane ways possible if that happens.
Yep.
But let's move on to the big one this weekend, the Cookout Southern 500. This was the final race of the regular season, and the talk was between Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace, who would make it in between those two drivers. Well, there are a lot of other hungry drivers behind them who had
Neither of them did, unfortunately.
yeah, spoiler warning. Neither of them did, unfortunately. Someone had something to say about that. Let's get into it. Bubba did start on pole for this race, led the field to green, and already on lap 3, Martrix Jr. And he's just having a good old time out there. Running 6th, battling William Byron for 5th, gets under Byron and gets himself loose, spins in turns 1 and 2, goes back up the
Son of a
track.
bitch is lucky to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, he is. And then he takes out Ryan Blaney. So their race was over very, very early. And yeah, Martrix Jr. made the playoffs based on where he is in points. So congrats to him, but he dodged a bullet.
Yeah, he's gonna be he'll be out. He'll be out early.
I don't see him making it far. I think honestly, I just feel like he's had enough. He's had enough of racing. I think he deserves to.
Yeah, he and Harrison Burton are two for sure's out in the round in 16.
That's a bold playoff. That's a bold prediction. That is a bold prediction.
He and Burton are for sure two.
Well, okay, Harrison, I understand, but Truex, come on, let's go a little bit
He's
easy.
done.
I mean, yeah, I know he's kind of not wanting to race, but come on, you really want to put him and Harrison Burton in the same sentence as being eliminated early?
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see what happens after Bristol in a couple weeks. But yeah, Martin Truex Jr., you're lucky to make the playoffs, sir, but God, you got some work to do. But I don't think he'll
A lot of work to do. He's already one point behind.
I think he'll be an early playoff exit, but I think like round 12. Round of
Round
12.
of 12. Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll make round of 16, but I think he'll miss round of 12.
Here's another driver I feel like will be knocked down the round of 16. Syndic.
Oh, no doubt. I think he'll be eliminated early, and I hate to say it, but mi amigo Daniel Suarez, I think he'll be eliminated early. Um, but let's
Although
move.
he does have a good track coming up though.
He does have a good track coming up, two good tracks actually in
Yep.
Atlanta and the Glen, so you never know.
Yes.
But let's move on. Bubba Wallace led the field for a little bit, and then our favorite driver, Kyle Larson, took the lead on pit stops, and he set sail, led 263 laps, won stage one and stage two. And then we had some action heating up in stage three. Carson Hocevar, who started outside front row, had a great qualifying effort, but fell like a rock at the start
I
of the
was gonna
grid.
say he was a no-show right away.
Yeah, he was a no-show, and stage three was horrible for him. Started with him spinning out in turn four and collecting Todd Gilliland. So that was a sign of things to come. And then on the restart, Chris Buescher back in traffic, racing Gilliland. Oh no, wait, no. Okay, sorry. Gilliland and Hocevar incident came later. Hocevar spun by himself in turn four. Godloose came out turn four and spun out. And then on the restart, back in traffic, Chris Buescher racing hard with Todd Gilliland. Gilliland squeezed Buescher into the outside wall, and then Buescher came back down the track and pretty much cleaned out Todd Gilliland, sending him spinning down the back straightaway. I mean, I don't think Buescher did it intentionally. I think he just got into the wall and then his car ricocheted off
Oh,
of it.
no, Gillen got him first. So if anything,
Yeah, yeah. If anything, it was payback. It's
that
kind of
was
a
payback. That was payback on Butcher. That was nothing intentional. That was payback.
yeah, but
And
I
since Butcher got screwed back in the spring, he wasn't letting anybody get in his way. So I respect the payback.
yeah, I mean, he had to kind of stand up for himself a little bit. We saw Reddick do the same thing to him back in May. That's why he went up to Reddick's car at Darlington and was so pissed off at him. And when Todd Gillen did it, he's like, "Well, screw you, Todd. Into the wall you go," which we love to see.
Oh
But
yeah.
Gillen went into the wall. That set the field up for another restart. And a few laps after said restart, Carson Hocevar's night went from bad to worse, cuts a right front tire going into turn three, goes up the wall, and takes Gilliland with him. So both of their nights were pretty much over after that. Carson Hocevar, he's a great racer. He had a great qualifying effort, though, but man, he was a no-show.
I was gonna say, literally, right from the green flag start, no show.
Yeah, no show at all. And then this is where the race really, 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 really got good. Ross Chastain, one of those drivers below the cut line trying to win, stays out on older tires. It was between him and Kyle Larson on the restart, or so we thought. Ty Gibbs gets into the mix. And then going down the backstretch, Chase Briscoe, who everyone had circled to win this race, mind you, pulls a bonsai three wide move down
Holy
the back
shit!
straight.
What a move!
Yeah, that was we saw that live. That was we all just stood up just screaming in Ian's garage when we saw that happen. And that was insane. Briscoe gets the lead away and he was starting to pull away. And then towards the back of the top 10, Ty Gibbs, who had slipped back, gets caught up in traffic, racing three wide with Denny Hamlin and Josh Berry. Denny goes into turn one underneath them, gets into Barry, who then gets into Gibbs. They spin out in turns one and two and create a multi-car accident. I mean, Noah Gragson was involved. Barry got KO'd. William Byron was collected and also involved Bubba Wallace, whose playoff hopes basically ended right then and there.
Uh, just hard to see.
It was hard to
Because I
see.
was hoping Bubba would get in. Like, I would have been
Yeah.
happy if I was like Bubba and Busher get in.
Yeah.
But
And that's, I mean, Ty Gibbs wrecked, but, we needed Bubba to miss that so so him and Busher could slide right on by Gibbs and knock him out of the playoffs. But no, we didn't get that at all. And Bubba he goes right into the back of William Byron. That messed up the hood of his car. And then Noah Gragson, unable to slow down, KOs the back of Bubba's car. Bubba still finished the race, but yeah, we basically knew that crash was the end of his playoff hopes. That we saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, it was, which is a shame because he raced so good, but his pit crew kind of didn't have the best of stops all night again, and that's the problem with Bubba. He has great races, but his pit crew just keeps screwing him
Great
over.
races, awful pit crew. Like, and this has been going on for a long time, and it just needs to fucking stop.
Well, if I'm Booty
Bubba
Bart,
is a great driver, and then there's this pit crew who fucks things up.
if I'm Booty Barker, I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now. I mean, there's a reason why it took you a lot of starts to win your first cup race until Bubba came along and won it in a rain shortened event at Talladega. I mean, there's a reason why, and it's because you can't put a good pit crew together to save your career. And unfortunately, Bubba was the victim of his pit crew again, I feel.
Yeah, and Bubba's a great driver. I'm not
Yeah,
taking anything away from Bubba. He's a great driver.
yeah,
Just has a shit pit crew.
exactly. And it's a shame for him, but it wouldn't really matter between him and Busher because then we get another restart. Briscoe leading with Kyle Larson on the inside. But then on the restart, we saw an old enemy reemerge.
Oh my
Kyle
god.
Kyle Busch, insert Jaws theme, just coming. Yes, that was my thoughts on the restart. Just slingshots ahead of maybe four cars on the restart and was chasing after Chase Briscoe for the lead. This was very reminiscent of 2020 when both drivers went at it in the Xfinity series for the win at
Literally
Darlington.
shades that Xfinity race.
Yeah. And Briscoe came out on top then, and he had to do it again over Kyle Busch, one of the best in the business. Busch was closing in, but in the end, it really didn't matter. Chase Briscoe pulls off the upset at Darlington. His first win.
Major upset special.
Yes, his first win since Phoenix in 22 back in the spring. It's his second career
Look at
Cup
him.
Series win.
Yeah, we had a couple drivers snap some super long streaks this year. Super long streaks.
Yeah.
Brad Kozlowski snapped his long losing streak. Chase Briscoe snapped his long losing streak. Alex Bowman snapped his long losing streak. Joey
Suarez.
Logano snapped his losing streak. Suarez, Chase Elliott. I mean, a lot of big name drivers snapped some long losing streaks, which was good to see.
Yeah, it was. It was nice to see a lot of those drivers get back to victory lane. They snapped very, 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 very long losing streaks, and Chase Briscoe joins that category, and he saves potentially the jobs of his pit crew and some other employees at SHR because that team is folding. They're folding up, and a lot of those employees are looking for new homes to work at next year. And I mean, Briscoe and his crew, they may have just saved themselves the job. And I mean, he's making Joe Gibbs look smart for why he's taking him in that 19 car.
Chase he's not a bad driver. He's been up there.
He's not. He's just been in some not he's just been in mediocre equipment for some time.
Well, hopefully the equipment he has next year will be much better. And who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe Chase Briscoe will be in victory lane a couple times next season.
Hey, I think he may. With a performance like this at Darlington, he may have just secured himself to be the next big thing at JGR. So
Now
um,
let's just hope he races like that wasn't a fluke.
yeah, no, I mean this you have to give Briscoe credit for this one. I mean, he was top five all night
100%.
long. Top five. He was no slouch. It wasn't like Austin Cindric winning a Gateway this year. I mean, Cindric was top five, but he didn't deserve to win at the end. I mean, he just got lucky because Blaney ran out of
I
gas.
was just
But
gonna say.
yeah, and now Briscoe is now Briscoe kind of just he was there the whole time and just was able to overtake at the best possible time. So
Exactly. And he raced Kyle Busch good. Like Kyle Busch, he was coming. He was
yeah,
coming.
yeah. And
But
it's
very
scary.
impressive how Chase Briscoe held him off.
It's scary because Kyle
2
Busch,
weeks in a row, somebody held off Kyle Busch,
yeah, just soak that
which
in.
I for sure thought Kyle Busch would get him. I for sure thought.
Yeah, he was closing and I was like, oh, there's no way. Because Briscoe, I mean, he needed to keep running the high line and he kept going like middle or the low line on the track. I was like, what are you doing? You're just letting him catch up to you. Like, you need to be
I'll
running
tell
the
you
high
this. I'll
line.
tell you this. If there was maybe 10 more laps, Busch
Yeah.
catches him.
Yeah, if that race goes maybe even 5 laps longer, Bush catches him.
Or if another caution came out.
Oh yeah, if there was another
I feel
caution
like
came,
Busch would have won that restart and just been gone.
yeah, he would have set sail on the restart and would not look back. But yeah, Kyle Busch missing the playoffs, as are a lot of other drivers, which let's get into our playoff standings for the
Right.
2024 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. 16 drivers make it up. Winning the regular season title was Tyler Reddick, who had his flu game this weekend at Darlington. I mean, he was not feeling too
Vomiting
well.
and shitting. Oh my god.
Yeah, throwing up and shitting himself. That doesn't sound like fun when you're sitting in a race car for 3 hours. But
Well, Tony Stewart shit himself, so
yeah, uh, Kyle Larson atop the playoff standings right now. Christopher Bell second. Tyler Reddick, the regular season champ, is third. William Byron fourth seeded. Ryan Blaney, the defending champion, rounds out the top five. Then we have Denny Hamlin sixth. Chase Elliott, your driver, in seventh. Bad Brad back in the playoffs again in eighth, representing RFK. Joey Logano ninth. His teammate Austin Cindric 10th. Daniel Suarez, mi amigo, back in the playoffs, seated 11th. Bowman 12th. He is the last driver above the cut line, and then the four drivers below the cut line entering the round of 16. Chase Briscoe in 13th. Harrison Burton 14th. Ty Gibbs, making his first playoffs as in a sophomore season, is 15th, and his teammate Martin Truex Jr. is seated 16th. Those are the drivers. And let's take a look. The drivers who unfortunately did not make the playoffs this year. Chris Buescher won 3 times last year, came up oh so close this year. He's out. Bubba Wallace out this year.
he
Ross,
got hosed out of 2 races this year. I mean,
yeah,
like Kansas, which I was there to see.
yeah,
Him got robbed by 0.0000000001 and Tyler Reddick hosing him.
yep, exactly. That's such a heartbreaker right there. I mean, Chris Buescher came oh so close to winning maybe 2 races, but yeah, he's gonna walk away with what if after this one. But he still had a heck of a season. You can't take any away
Great
from
season.
great season for Buescher. Can't take away anything from him. Big surprise, Ross Chastain out of the playoffs this year. He was on I thought Ross would have had a couple wins by now, but he's been very sluggish in that one car.
Yeah, what happened to Chastain this year?
I
The dude was a complete no-show.
Yeah, he was like top like maybe 11th at best in terms of like best driver out there on the field. I mean, he didn't really have a consistent top 10 car, which was insane that he
Right.
wasn't running good. And then Kyle Busch, for the first time since 2012, will not contend in the playoffs. Busch misses the playoffs for the first time in this new format since its inception in 2014. I mean, he can still win a race and keep his win streak of winning years going, but he's not going to contend for a title, which is insane. Everyone thought he'd be there this year, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, he just completely fell off after his win at Gateway last season.
Oh yeah. Yeah, ever since then he's been a shell of what he once was. He has not been
Complete no-show.
yeah, completely. And then obviously we had other drivers back here. No surprise. Josh Berry, a rookie. Noah Gragson missing out. Michael McDowell had some good races. He's not in it. Austin Dillon. Sorry, buddy. That win still doesn't count for you to get
If
into the
you didn't
playoffs.
punch Joey, if you didn't punch Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, you'd be in. But nope.
Yep. Nope. Sorry, buddy. The racing gods are cruel, and Richard Childress, come on, stop. Just move on already. Stop complaining about it. You're not going to change their minds. It's done and over with. Move on and be done with it. Just keep trying to put out race winning cars like you have been the past couple weeks and be done with it. Okay?
Yeah, I don't get it why they're still trying to fight this. Like Austin Dillon clearly committed a crime.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I mean, that's his grandson right there. Rich Childress gonna do anything it
Yeah,
takes.
another Golden Boy.
Oh yeah, feed the golden boy, but he ain't the golden boy of NASCAR though. He ain't the golden boy of NASCAR. But Pat, we got Atlanta coming up. The first
Yes,
round,
sir.
first race of the playoffs coming up this weekend. I want to get your playoff previews though for the round of 16. We have some bold takes here. We saw a little bit of it, but who are the four drivers that you have not advancing out of the round of 16?
Well, like I said, Martin Truex for sure. I mean, he's just completely done. Harrison Burton, I feel like, is out of there. Austin Cindric, he's definitely out of there right away. And call me crazy. I know you were going towards your amigo Daniel Suarez, but honestly, I think Alex Bowman's that fourth driver that I have out. So
Ooh,
I have Truex, Burton, Bowman, and Cindric out in the first round.
that's interesting. Okay, I like that. So after the round of 16, my drivers, Harrison Burn, no brainer. I think he'll be eliminated early. Austin Cindric, I agree with you there. I think he'll also be eliminated early unless he runs really good at Atlanta this weekend, but that's a track that is very hit or miss. I'm actually gonna go Chase Briscoe being eliminated in the round of 16. I don't think he'll make it far. And call me crazy too, but I'm gonna go Ty Gibbs being eliminated in the round of 16. Gibbs
Okay,
has
okay.
Gibbs has really been lacking. He's been kind of sluggish this summer. Hasn't really
Yeah.
hasn't really put a whole lot behind himself. I thought he'd have some wins by now, but that still hasn't happened. So I don't
No,
know.
it hasn't though. But yeah, those are some good picks. Chase Briscoe, yeah, I definitely see him, making the round of 12 along with Ty Gibbs too. But
Yeah.
I think the options that we have are definitely realistic.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt in my mind, Harrison Burn, Austin Cindric, those are the two drivers most prone right now to be eliminated early. That's just my prediction. That's just how I feel.
Exactly. And we're coming up to a good super speedway where you just gotta pray to God these drivers avoid a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you never know. Atlanta's a crapshoot. I mean, there's so many of these drivers can have good runs, and I mean, Harrison Burn goes out there and dodges the big ones and finishes top 5. He'll be looking very good for actually making it to the round of 12, bearing any other mistakes, which is
I
scary
have
to
a
say.
I just have that feeling that, since we're going to a super speedway this weekend, I
Yeah.
just have that feeling that there's going to be that one driver that just comes out of nowhere in the standings, in the
Yeah.
playoff standings, that just pulls off the win,
Yeah.
which we'll definitely touch on shortly.
And that's how this system is. That's how the system is constructed now, which we don't really like how it's constructed, but hey, NASCAR wants some game 7 moments. They want the chaos to happen, and they're gonna get it here at Atlanta because I mean,
Shit, call me crazy, but this is a game 7.
yeah, this is a game 7 and it's just race 1 of the playoffs, which is so insane. But
I feel like tracks like Atlanta, Bristol, Talladega, Martinsville, you could say Kansas too,
yeah,
are your like game 7 type races.
yeah, those and maybe even Watkins Glen to somewhat of an extent
Yeah.
this year.
You can say all these tracks
Yeah,
are game 7s.
yeah, that's just
Because
how
you have two super speedways, two road courses, which Charlotte Roval will be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Watkins Glen will definitely be more entertaining.
Yeah.
These are definitely game 7 type races coming up.
No doubt. And that's just how NASCAR wants it. They want these game 7 type moments. They want these
Yeah, like
storylines
shit.
and
Vegas is in the category. Homestead's in the category. Martinsville, depending on how the car is in that
oh
category.
yeah.
But yeah, no. Charlotte, Roval, no, 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 no. Get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now, if they had the oval, I would definitely put it in the category. But these are all Game 7 type races.
yeah, these definitely. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna be it's gonna be a fight to the death, I feel. But yeah, the round of 16 it's gonna hold no punches back, and we'll be there to see it all unfold. But we'll
Oh
be along
yes.
with the ride. But let's preview Atlanta coming up this weekend. We have a lot of racing going on there with Xfinity and Cup Series. We have the Xfinity race on Saturday at 2 p.m. The Focused Health 250. That is not a playoff race for Xfinity, but it's going to be another super speedway race, the last one before the last one of the year for Xfinity, and then they don't go back to Talladega again. But Pat,
Are you fucking kidding me?
yeah, they don't go back to Talladega, which I kind of miss, but oh well.
Wait, oh wait, no wait, no. There's a few more races for Xfinity:
Yeah,
Atlanta,
but
Watkins Glen, and Bristol.
yeah, but I mean, this is the last super speedway racing for
Oh,
Xfinity.
okay. Super
Yeah,
Speedway race. Gotcha.
yeah, last super speedway race for Xfinity before the for the season. But Pat, who we got for predictions this week? I'll let you go first.
Well, if this man can avoid the big one, because this is a man that's been owning Atlanta lately, Mr. Hill. I'm taking Austin Hill to win at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
All right, you're gonna go Austin Hill. You know
Yep.
what? I'm actually gonna go a little bit more of a bold prediction. This man won at Talladega earlier this year. He was dominant at Atlanta, led over 150 laps, came within came within a few laps of winning it, but was just short. I'm gonna go his teammate Jesse Love.
Jesse Love's been
Yeah.
slightly consistent this year.
He's been consistent, but he's been somewhat hit or miss. But this is a get right track for him. So he's in
Yep.
the playoffs, but he can really cement himself here with a win. I'm going to take Jesse Love. And then we also, the next day, have the cup race going on. We saw second race of the year at Atlanta, Daniel Suarez edge out Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch in that insane 3 wide photo finish. Pat, I'll start with you. Who you got winning Atlanta this weekend?
Okay. Well, obviously, we saw a lot of great racing. We saw a great race in Atlanta this year. A three wide finish with Bush, Blaney, and Suarez. I mean, talk about a major change if one of those drivers wins. But this guy has been quietly consistent. This driver's been quietly consistent this year. This is also considered a home track for him. He's won here before, and I feel like this man is going to start the playoffs on the right foot, and that is Chase Elliott.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you came on here with that 9 cap for a reason. I knew you came on with that 9 cap for a reason. I knew you.
It's not like I haven't had nine. I've had nine shit on during our whole season, but
Yep. Yeah, I saw that coming. I saw that coming a
this is the
mile away.
track. This is a track for Chase Elliott to win. This is a track, and there's some good good tracks for Chase coming up.
There are. I mean, we go here, we go to the
I
Glen.
see Chase Elliott for sure making the round of eight.
Oh, yeah, he keeps the consistency
Championship
going.
for
To be
see how he
determined.
does in the round. We'll see how he does in the round of eight, but round of eight for sure. I see him in the round of eight.
Oh yeah, he's been quietly consistent and he's kept it up so far and he'll be there. But I'm actually going to go a driver not in the playoffs. This man is going to come into Atlanta. He's going to get redemption for coming oh so close back in February.
Oh,
Give
you
me
son of a bitch.
yeah, he's been red hot lately, and I think unfortunately he's going to win. Not Ryan Blaney, the other driver who finished in
Oh,
that
he's
three-wide
already in.
battle. Yeah, give me Kyle Busch.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. RCR, I don't like RCR, but I mean this is a good track for them. So they've been gaining some momentum, at least in the cup side lately. So they'll be up there.
Yes, they have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that is our predictions. Uh, Pat, that's gonna lead us to the end of the show. Actually, we forgot to do paint scheme of the week. We've been
I was
so
gonna
busy.
say
We
they're
forgot to do paint scheme of the week. Okay, so we'll do paint scheme of the week, and then we'll do winners and losers of the
yes, we
week.
should.
So, all right, we'll start off with your paint scheme of the week. Who you got?
Come on. You can't go wrong about Ross Chastain's Bush Light scheme. You just
Oh,
can't.
oh, that paint scheme is fresh. That is a
Very
fresh one.
fresh.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go Brennan Poole's throwback scheme in Xfinity, that
I
44
like that.
car. Yeah, that's a really good scheme there. I give me Brennan Poole. This ain't throwback weekend, even though it should be, but yeah, Brennan Poole's throwback scheme that he ran in the Xfinity race. That was pretty cool. All right, so let's go again with our winners and losers of the week. I'll let you start as always. Who you got?
Well, obviously, Chase Briscoe, of course, getting a win in your in situation. He got the job done. And my loser of the week, Matt, I'm stealing your pick, but Sheldon Creed.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's yeah, Creed was going to be my pick. You just knew that right from the get-go, but yeah, Sheldon Creed still cannot win a race to save his life, but he'll get there one day. I feel he's getting closer.
He
So,
will.
he'll get there. He'll be a winner soon. Okay. Um God. Um hmm. Who to take for my winner of the week? This is really tricky. You know what? My winner of the week is going to be Christian Eckes. He moves up the chain, goes to a decent situation, a colleague. Um, I'm happy for him. He's been overlooked so many times, and now he'll finally have a shot to prove himself at a higher level in NASCAR if he goes out there and wins the championship in trucks this year, which I think he's the favorite. Him and Corey Heim are the clear
100%.
favorites. They are the two favorites to win the Truck Series title this year. I like Eckes, so I'll take him as my winner. My loser of the week, unfortunately, it's Chris Buescher. I mean, yeah, he finished top five, but you really could have came out here with a win. And all we're gonna remember this season is what if moments. What if you didn't finish 1/1000th of a
They're going to
second?
remember spring Kansas and spring Darlington.
Yep. Yep. That's what Busher's going to remember. And I mean, a race where everyone was talking about between him and Bubba Wallace and Chase Briscoe. They let Chase Briscoe join right into the party, and Briscoe overtook them. Actually, I'm going to actually add losers of the week. Bubba Wallace joins that category as well. So Busher and Bubba, I'm sorry, but you're losers of the week because this was supposed to be your battle to the finish, and Chase Briscoe came out of nowhere and overtook you guys. So sorry, but yeah. Better luck next year, boys.
Yeah, it's tough, but that's
Yeah,
racing.
that is racing. So, all right, everyone, that's gonna do it for the end of this week's Codo Bach Pit Stop. We'll be here for the playoffs to end the season, recap any more silly
Yes, we
season
went up.
news, which is going to get only crazier from here. Thanks again for watching. As always, I'm Matt Lauterbach, and joined by the one and only.
Patrick Codo.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.